Wow, Marty, you've gone to town. You've actually got me a test card. You've got me a test card for the start of the show. That must have cost a fortune to get something like that done. And you've got the artist that designed the test card as well.
Justin, I didn't spare any expense. You done the sound for the week in whiskey news. I thought I'd splash out and get a bit of artwork done, brighten the place up a bit.
Wow, that's fabulous. I mean, Leah, how much did you spend on my fabulous artwork?
I can't tell you that. Right. It's a secret.
No, it's not actually our artwork, by the way. It's not for us. Normally, whiskey bottles, the labelling on whiskey bottles are this sort of dull grey, just say the name. Or you can go to Cologne, where you get all scuffed up and a bit of black marker. Or we get wee grousey birds and Scotty dogs. But no, our friends at Waterford have decided to push the boat out a bit. Surprise, surprise. And they got Leah to come in and design a bespoke label. This is what's going to go on the label of the Cuvée, their basically their flagship bottling. Now, Leah, how did you get roped into this?
I don't know why they trusted me with the job, but anyway, it's worked out in the end, I think.
I think it has.
Yeah, I hope so. So I think I just got an email one day, and it was open. I'm always open to collaboration as an artist because I spend a lot of time working on my own and in the studio by myself. So any opportunity to kind of challenge myself or work to different briefs is always welcome. So then they just brought me through the company ethos, like what they were all about, and I think instantly I was just sucked in. So I suppose the attention to detail for every single aspect of the company, and just I suppose the kind of respect each person had for each other, and the space that every person has like within the company to kind of be creative and to express their own opinions and stuff was something that really drew me in. So I went down to get the grand tour of Waterford Distillery, and they brought me through the whole process and explained, how they were how they'd introduced the idea of terroir into whiskey making, which blew my mind actually. So there was a lot to learn and a lot to take in, which was all very exciting. And I got the sense of everybody that I met down there that they were kind of all in on a secret or something, and they were all giddy with this secret, and they were letting me into their world and trusting me in the world of, Waterford Distillery, which was really infectious. Actually.
Well, it is kind of infectious. I honestly think they're starting to really get more and more momentum as people begin to understand what it is they're trying to do and where they're going. For the first part of the whole story, when they were doing the single farms, I was like, I don't know where this is going. Are they just trying to get people to do all the collections? And then you talk to people and you see they're actually aiming for what they're going to consider their best product that's going to be available all the time. And that's coming with your artwork on the front of it.
As far as I gather, their main ethos is to really kind of push the boat out and to challenge, what the perception of whiskey is and what it should be. Mm-hmm. And, to create sort of a full sensory experience, from the visual of the bottle itself right through to when you get the aromas and then the taste of it. The whole experience of it is a completely different angle as far as I understand it to be in the world of whiskey.
Leah, how long does it take from a concept to completion?
It's very difficult for me to say because I'm usually working on a few different things at one time. Yeah. And I like to sort of give myself breathing room throughout the process to kind of change my mind. So I keep the process fresh in a sense, instead of just working on one thing from start to finish. Yeah. I'll step away from it for a while, make sure I'm making the right decisions and go back to it time and time again. So, but this particular painting is the first sort of way that I've painted in this way. And I think just by gaining more of an understanding of the complexity of distilling whiskey, and the layers that are involved in it, I really wanted to create this sort of in-depth methodology to how I was going to make this painting as well. So just with the idea of having, a seed that turns into grain that is then given a new life as whiskey, just that process of transformation in nature, so the symbiosis of technology within that as well. So I think where I began was I made 2 images using computer generation and sort of editing software. And what I wanted to do was emulate the sort of the experience that you get when you're drinking this whiskey, where it's like you're kind of almost able to understand it in its entirety, but it's just, there's an overload of sensory experiences going on, and it's all firing away, So I think by overlaying the 2 images and bringing them back into paint, so bringing them from technology into sort of human touch, from computer generated images into painting, and overlapping the images into strips, the brain becomes a little bit sort of overwhelmed by the information which is coming through the eye. So it's very difficult for it to kind of process the whole thing in its entirety in one go.
Yeah.
So, and then also introducing the red and the green sort of vibrating colors of it, and then the neon, just creating that whole sense of illusion, while keeping it sort of playful and mischievous as well.
I think it definitely is. And it's called Binary Assimilation. That's the name of the piece.
That's what happens to you on Star Trek when the Borg get you.
Aye, that.
No, I never watched Star Trek, so.
Now, are they going to keep the blue bottle? Is it, can we get in?
Yeah,
They're going to keep the standard, this blue bottle, and this is going to go on the front of the bottle?
Yeah, now there might be a few other changes, but I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. Just
no, you're like
Mark Rainier won't. He won't mind. He won't mind.
That's all right, Mark. That's okay. He says yes. No. You're a whiskey drinker yourself, Leah. Yes.
I dabble. I dabble a little bit, but yeah. But I had Ned, the head distiller, up to the studio there, I think last week or 2 weeks. So he was really giving me, because I stupidly drove down to Waterford Distillery when I was doing the tour, so I couldn't try any of it, but they sent me away. They sent me away with loads of bottles, which was very generous. So when Ned came up here, he brought me through a few of the different ones, and actually I got to try to taste. I tasted the Cuvée, which was really exciting. So. Yeah, so I mean,
there's lots of people looking forward to this.
Very honored.
Right.
Yeah, I felt very honored.
Ned doesn't strike me as the most, shall we say, artistic appreciator of art, maybe.
Do you know what? When he came up, because I was teaching him how to paint, and when he came up, I think the main thing with being creative is just trusting the process and throwing yourself into it. A lot of it can be a lack of self-confidence, and I think Ned actually just threw himself into it, and he really enjoyed his time. And we sent him away with 2 paintings, so one that I had done and one that he had done. And I think it was something that was very personal to him. But he's very passionate, when you're speaking to him about, he sticks his nose into the glass of whiskey and all of these things. He's very descriptive with what he experiences with his, with the experience, the senses of.
I imagine I know which one of those which one of those paintings will end up hanging on the wall. I imagine I know which one. No, Leah. So when
Maybe that's the next label. Who knows? Maybe his painting is the next label.
Yeah, I don't think so somehow. But you never know. You never know.
Listen, you never say never again. That's
Never
it.
say never.
Well, that's the thing. They're full of surprises down there, you know.
Well, the one thing is, as it currently stands, I think the bottle looks pretty sharp. You know, they've got that lovely cap, the glass stopper and stuff on it.
Yeah,
and I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
with your label on the front of it, it's going to absolutely ping off out of the shelves. It's going to look absolutely, totally like Star Trek. To paraphrase Justin,
and Marty has a sneaky suspicion that the final product might be something extra special.
I have a funny feeling I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be something well worth.
I think you might be right. Yeah.
Now, Leah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, lovely to meet you guys. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I appreciate it.
And we'll see you again soon. So take care.